Greetings to you all. I am Dr. S. Arockia Punitha, Assistant Professor, Department of Business Administration, Holy Cross College, Autonomous, Tiruchirappalli. In this video, I am going to discuss about the Factories Act 1948, which is the most important topic in the industrial law. And the learning objective is to understand the definition of Factories Act and other important definitions given in the Factories Act 1948 and to interpret the role of the occupier and duties of the occupier in the Factories Act 1948 and to explain the provisions ensuring the health of the workers given under the Factories Act 1948. So, factory definition. According to Section 2M of the Factories Act 1948, the factory is the place where 10 or more workers were working preceding 12 months and there must be the manufacturing process and it should not like with or without the aid of power. So, and another definition is 20 or more workers, 10 or more workers or 20 or more workers been working with or without the aid of power will come under the definition of factory. So, there are certain terms that does not include factory. For example, mines, mobile unit belong to armed forces, railway running shed, hotel, restaurants and or eating places. So, this mines will come under the Indian Mines Act and the mobile units belong to armed forces. Even though these are terms like it will come under the factory, but it won't come under the Factories Act 1948. And next one is important definitions related to the Factories Act 1948. And the first definition is adult. So, under Section 2A, the adult is a person who has completed 18 years of age. And adolescent is a person given under Section 2B in the Factories Act. He is the person who has completed 15 years of age but not completed 18 years of age. And a child, Section 2C defines that child is the person who has not completed 15 years of age. And here young person, Section 2D defines young person either a child or is calendar year. Under Section 2BB, the period of 12 months starting from the first day of January is the calendar year, and the day Section 2A defines 24 hours beginning at midnight is the day, and the week Section 2F defines 7 days beginning at midnight. So, next we are going to see the occupier. The definition of the occupier under Section 2 subsection N is the occupier is the person who has the control over all the activities of the business. He is the person appointed by the company to take over all the activities of the business. According to this definition, occupier is the person who has ultimate control over the affairs of the company, and in a partnership firm or an association of individual, an occupier is a person who must be the partner. And in case of the company, the occupier must be the person who is appointed as the director of the company. And in case of the companies which is registered and manage all the affairs of the company, so those persons shall deemed to be the occupier. And the occupier must be the owner, a lessee or a mere lessee. So, the occupier should not be the mere servant and he should not control all the other activities in the business like machineries or employees in the industry. So, he must be the owner or he must be the partner or he must be the director of the company. And next one is notice by the occupier. Under Section 7, the occupier shall at least 15 days before he begins his work, he should send the notice to the chief inspector. Okay, so it must be the written notice and it must include the name and situation of the factory, name and address of the occupier, name and address of the owner, and the address to which the communication is to be sent, and the manufacturing process in the factory, and the total rated horsepower. So, horsepower is HP, installed or to be installed, and the name of the managers, number of workers likely to be employed in the factory, and other particulars which is prescribed by the inspectors. They should include all the other details and they should send this written notice to the chief inspector before 15 days he begins to start work. And the general duties of the occupier. So under New Amendment Act 1987, they have given the new section 7A. In that section, they have mentioned the general duties of the occupier in the factory. Okay. So here the first one is provisions and maintenance of the plant. So provision and the maintenance of the plant should be there to ensure the health, safety and welfare measures of the employees in the organization. So the most important duty of the occupier is he has to ensure all the health and safety measures are properly followed in the organization, and the workers must be satisfied with all the health and the welfare measures. And arrangements ensuring the safety measures, providing informations and training and supervision, ensuring the health and safety of all the workers, and maintenance of all places of work in the factory, and maintenance or monitoring of the working conditions. So these are the most important duties of the occupier as per the new amendment of the Factories Act 1987. So next we are going to see the detailed provisions of the Factories Act 1948, and there are three important provisions. One is health measures, second one is safety measures, and the third one is the welfare measures. And the health measures come under chapter 3 section 11 to 20, and safety measures chapter 4 section 21 to 41, and welfare measures chapter 5 section 42 to 50. So in this video we are going to see the health measures, and I'll post the safety measures and welfare measures in the upcoming videos. So health chapter 3 sections 11 to 10, and it covers cleanliness under section 11, disposal of waste and effluents section 12, ventilation and the temperature section 13, dust and fumes section 14, artificial humidification section 15, and overcrowding section 16, lighting section 17, and drinking water section 18, latrines and urinals section 19, and spittoons section 20. We'll see one by one. So first one is cleanliness under section 11. So the factories must be kept clean. So it is the important duty of the occupier to check the cleanliness of the factory, and accumulation of the dirt and the refusals must be cleaned every day by using the appropriate methods. And the floors of the workplaces must be cleaned at least once in a every week, and it should be properly washed, or it should be washed using the detergents, disinfectants, whatever it is. Okay. And the next one is effective means of drainage. So if there is any possibility that due to the manufacturing process, if the floor gets wet, the organization must have a proper drainage facilities, and the water must be drained very quickly, and the proper drainage facilities should be there, and they have to check on it frequently. And next one is use of disinfectants, like for example painting, repainting, varnishing the floors, revarnishing the floors. So everything should be done regarding the cleanliness in the factory. And next we are going to see the disposal of waste and effluents. So if there is a lot of waste and effluents due to the manufacturing process, the organization should have a proper treatment of waste and effluents in the factory, and there is certain rules prescribed by the state government for the treatment of this waste and effluents. The factory must follow it. Okay. And the next one is ventilation and temperature under section 13. So ventilation is the fresh air. So in the working environment, the workers should get the fresh air, and there should be the circulation of air in the working environment. And the high temperature, the machineries which is producing high temperature must be separated, and the walls and floors should be designed according to that temperature, and it should absorb the temperature. And the process of producing high temperature to be separated. So the machineries which is producing high temperature must be separated, and the state government must prescribe certain standards, like if the machinery is producing high temperature, the high roof walls and proper ventilation should be given, and a prescription by the state governments to reduce the temperature, and the notice by the inspectors. The inspectors have to regularly check on the ventilation and the maintenance of temperatures in the factory. And next we are going to see the dust and fume under section 14. So the dust and fume, the measures must be taken by the occupier and by the factory to prevent the accumulation of the dust and fume in the factory. And here the internal combustion machines should not be installed unless if there is a proper exhaustion facility is arranged. So it should be properly emitted in the open air, then only they can use this internal combustion engines. So next one is artificial humidification. So there is also certain standards prescribed by the state government. If the industry should have a proper humidification in the air, they must use the regular supply of water and they should have artificial humidification, section 15. So prescription of standards. So if the industry requires the humidification on air, they must use the clean water for that humidification. So they can use the public water facilities or they can use the drinking water. The water must be very clean. After proper treatment only they can use for the humidification. And water used for the humidifications to be clean, and the government should have certain prescriptions and standards to measure that. So the occupier have to measure the cleanliness of the factories, the cleanliness of the water that has been used in the artificial humidifications frequently. And next one is overcrowding. So overcrowding is the major problem in most of the factories and it is highly injurious to the health of the workers in the factory. So the government has prescribed that 9.9 to 14.2 cubic meters of space must be there between one worker and another worker, and the chief inspector must send the notice of the maximum number of workers to be worked in a particular workplace, and that must be followed by the occupier in the factory. And next we are going to see the lighting under section 17. So sufficient and suitable lighting arrangements should be there in the factory. So wherever the employee is working or employee is passing by, each and every place of the factory must be properly lighted, and the measures for the prevention of a glaring and formation of shadows should be there, like glazed windows and skylights to be kept clean. So the factory must clean the glazed windows inner side and outer side so that the workers can work very well in the organization. And the prescription of standards of sufficient suitable lighting should be prescribed by the state government. And next one is drinking water, section 18. So suitable points for the good drinking water should be there in the factory, and it should be away from the latrines and urinals and spittoons, and it should be kept in a very hygienic way. And the drinking points to be legibly marked. So the workers should know that here they have kept the drinking water like that. And if there is more than 250 workers are working in the particular factory, and if the weather is very hot, the factory must provide the cool drinking water facilities to the employees. Okay. And next one, latrines and urinals, section 19. So separate latrines and urinals must be kept in the industry for both the male and the female employees, and it should be very clean and it should be hygienically maintained. So once in every week at least they have to clean the latrines and urinals, and they have to clean it by using the proper disinfectants. And accommodation to be of prescribed sanitary types, and floors and walls to be glazed and their cleaning. And the last one is spittoons under section 20. So the sufficient number of spittoons must be kept in the factory area, and the spittoon should also be clean, and it should be very they should kept in a hygienic way. And display of notice of provisions of spittoon should be there in the place where they have kept the spittoons. And if the person spit outside the spittoons in some of the working area, and they should pay the penalty of ₹5. So this is the conclusion. So the major goal of this Factories Act is to establish the adequate welfare, safety and the health measures in the organization, and the organization must appoint the occupier, and the occupier should check all the provisions given in the health measures like cleanliness and treatment of plant and machineries, temperature, lighting, ventilation, etc. And there must be the clean water supplies, and separate restrooms and latrines should be built in the convenient location for the males and the females. And the frequently asked questions, I have given 3 questions. And first question, I have given the case study, Mr. Abdullah is the owner of the manufacturing concern where 20 persons are employed in the concern and learning the work. So remaining 18 employees are employed on the time wage system but on the piecework system. Examine the above situation and explain whether this furniture manufacturing company is the factory within the meaning of the term under the Factories Act 1948. And the second question is, discuss the duties of the occupier under the Factories Act 1948. And the third question is, describe the act deals with the provisions relating to the health of the workers in the organization under the Factories Act 1948. So references, you can refer in the Elements of Industrial Law in the N.D. Kapoor book, and also you can refer these 3 websites.